What's going on YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Digibyte, and OmiseGo. Those are the 5 that we're going to be going over today. And first of all, I wanted to really step back. We're looking at Bitcoin here on the log scale, and this is on the 1-day time frame. And what you can see is Bitcoin has been forming this symmetrical triangle now. And this all started back, guys. Our first touch point was at that high of $20,000, and we went as low as that $3,000 back up to $14,000. Then we ended up making it back down to about $3,800, and now we're right where we're at here at $9,500. And the problem that we've been having here, as you see that we've stepped back, you can almost see that we formed a double top right in this area around that $10,500 that we've pushed up to several times to try to get over. And that's what I've really been looking for us to try to get over, is that $10,000 and then that $10,500, and to turn that into support. That's so important for us, because right now that overall 10,000 even, and that 10,500 is acting as very strong overhead resistance for us. So it's important that, you know, in the days coming here, that we get over top of that. Otherwise, guys, we really could have another dump even back down to test this bottom trend line again over the span of time. And that's just how these things work. And then we'd probably go back up and test this until we fully break out of this top trend line, or we break down through this bottom trend line. That's what you're looking for right now. But we're basically in this range now. And what I've really noticed is that we've been trapped in the range between $8,500 and that $10,500. That's what I've been watching. And you can see I have an alert on that right now, that $8,500, because if we start breaking down through that, things could get pretty ugly for us here. But I wanted to step back and take a look at the big picture here as we've been bouncing in this symmetrical triangle. And what you can see here, guys, as I've talked about this, we need a big trend line break out of the top here on heavy volume. That's what's going to change this for us, because right now in a symmetrical triangle, it's a neutral pattern. You have to remember that. And with the neutral pattern here, guys, this basically would be our uptrend that we've had. We had our bear market, and we bounced back and forth in this symmetrical triangle now for, guys, close to about 2 years. I mean, this has been crazy how long that we've just been moving in this, waiting to see, you know, is Bitcoin going to get over that $20,000, or is Bitcoin going to start breaking down through some of these lows that we've had? But the symmetrical triangle, always remember, it's a neutral pattern, but typically it will want to break with the trend. And this trend, as you can see, the lifespan of Bitcoin has been up just like that. So if this is an area that we chop in before we have a massive move to the upside, that really could take us far, you know. But there's just so much to do before we get to that area. We have to get over these, you know, 20,000, 14,000, 10,500, and 10,000 is what I'm going to be looking to get over top of. Now, if we zoom in here, I want to show you some moving averages and where we're at right now. And you always want to pay attention to the volume. So what was tough for us here, we wicked up to this $10,500, and then we had, you know, what was close to almost a bearish engulfing candle here, and it came on heavy volume. So that was just a lot of manipulation as we started to break out through this little symmetrical triangle that we were looking at. But right now we're having a fight with this 20 EMA. The 20 EMA is very important. In most bull markets, you're going to stay up above that. In most bear markets, it's going to act as overhead resistance. So we don't want to start losing that. We're still up above the 50 and the 200. I'd also look at those for support areas if we start to move to the downside here. The 50 moving average is at $8,922. That's going to be a very important area to watch as well. And guys, what I also want to just put out there for, I know some people like this from TradingView Pro here, the volatility stop right now is at 9,241 for Bitcoin. So they're basically saying that if it starts breaking down through that, that will change this intermediate term uptrend that we've been in. Then we'd start heading to that downtrend, and that'd be the time to get out of your position. So that's just, people like that, because a lot of the times this volatility stop is pretty accurate. I mean, obviously we're going to have some times when we have those really long wicks, but for the most part it's pretty good. And then what I want to show you here was also at this area, how we're having this top here at resistance. Take a look at our MACD here. You can see the histogram moving to the negative here, and we've had this little downside cross. So this is just an area, guys. Like I said, I would be very careful here. I don't want to just go jumping into positions willy-nilly right now. This is not the time. We haven't had that bullish confirmation yet. So guys, if you get something from Bitcoin there, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends. When you put those letters, anything down there, it just really helps out the channel. So that's Bitcoin. We're going to move into Ethereum next. We'll take a look at that. With Ethereum, we're at $236. And what I want to point out here, guys, why technical analysis is so important, the support and resistance is, take a look. This was our previous resistance area. We've came up to that area right here and we failed. So now what we're waiting to see is if we're going to retrace more back to this 20 EMA and potentially get a bounce off that. We need to get over top of $248. That's going to be our overhead resistance that we must get over top of. And what I believe we need to hold for support is going to be around $216 for support is what we need. We're still up above our 50, still up above our 200. But, you know, guys, this is just the time we want to start seeing that swelling volume to the upside so we can get over top at 248 and then go up here and tackle that $286, which is going to be important. But volume has been a little bit dry right now. As you can see down here, we're a little below average. So keep an eye on that as well. And then if we take a look at the MACD, it's one I wanted to emphasize today. You can see the histogram is starting to tick to the negative, and we potentially could get that downside cross here. So this is an area to be careful, because if you get that downside cross at a top and a resistance, sometimes that can show you that you're going to need more time to cool down, and maybe that is going to be a cool down back into around $215, but we're going to have to keep our eye out on that. Same deal, guys. If you're not in a position, this is a tough spot. Just say, hey, I want to jump in right now. It's a tough spot to do that. But if you're in a position, as you can see with the volatility stop here, you're supposed to still stay in your position if it's a longer term position that you've been building and you've been holding here. Volatility stop's going to be at 229 there. And we'll take a look real quick at the trading view. Guys, looks like that's giving me a little bit of trouble today. So we're just going to move into Litecoin. Litecoin's at $45.61 right now. Tough thing with Litecoin, it's still below that 200 moving average. For me, when I'm playing a position, I want to be up above that, and that's going to show you that you're in that bull market. So it's a little tough that we're below that, and you can see we wicked up to it, we tested, and we had a lot of rejection there. So now we're getting squeezed between that 200 and that 50. So at some point here, Litecoin's going to have to decide, is it going to get over top of that 200 at $50, or are we going to start falling down through that 50 at $44.87? Yet again, very tough spot to just jump into a position right now. This green trend line is something that I would probably draw out even a little bit more and pay attention to, because if we start breaking down through that and having candle closes through that, then I'd start looking down around that $40 area for Litecoin. You can see the volume has been tailing off here. We want the volume to swell to the upside so we can pop through that 50 and then that $50 and then that $51. That's going to be overhead resistance as well, and then it'd be up around that 57. But same deal, this is a tough spot for Litecoin. If we take a look at our MACD here, MACD is starting to make a move to the downside. You can see the histogram starting to tick to the downside. We have not had a confirmed cross, and you always want to wait for a confirmed cross to the downside. But you can see that we are having a bit of a cool off right now, and we're just going to have to see in which direction this market's going to go. Patience is the key right now, guys. I wish I could tell you more. We've been moving sideways for quite a long time. That's why I haven't been doing as many videos as I typically would do, because I just don't want to come on here and just make a video to make a video. I want to give you something and inform you of something important. So that's Litecoin, guys. You get some from that. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let me know down below what coins you're here for. And then we'll get into OmiseGo next. And what I wanted to point out with OmiseGo here, obviously it's going to depend on what Ethereum's going to do, and that's why it's tough, guys. Whenever you're playing these altcoins and it's like an ERC20 token, you need to pay attention to Ethereum. Okay, so what we've had for OmiseGo, though, what I really like is that we've had this trend line break. You see this nice move to the upside here. Guys, that was a really beautiful move. The only thing is I still wish it would have came on more volume. As you can see, it's well above our average volume that we've been having back in here. But if you take a look and you really zoom out, the volume that got us up to $30, look how heavy this is, and take a look at our little volume over here. So yes, it's above average, but this volume's been so low during the bear market. And when it's been that low, you know, we need this type of volume here to really come in and get us moving to the upside. But it is a nice trend line break. It came on heavier volume than what we'd been having. We're still up above that 20 EMA right now, which is good. We've back tested it. I like that. We're up above our 50 and we're up above our 200 here. What you can see, we pushed up to around that $2.25. We came back down to this area that was previous resistance that we want to turn into support. We found support. We had a bullish engulfing candle. We tried to go up again and we failed. So now we just really been moving sideways, and we're going to wait to see if we can get a nice pop over that $1.89, or if we're going to start falling down through our volatility stop there at $1.46, and then our support would be around that 137, that previous area of resistance that we want to turn into support. That's so important. But with OmiseGo, it's nice to see that trend change, because we did have a true trend line break there, as you can see, and that's what you're looking for. These nice trend line breaks after this stock's or coin's been depressed for so long. So that is what we're looking at, $1.89 overhead resistance, and then support, we're going to look at about $1.38 is what we'll call it there. You like me covering OmiseGo, guys? Let me know specifically down low, and then we'll move into Digibyte as well. I know my Digibyte people, you guys been good to me, always leaving comments and everything, so I want to throw this in as much as possible. And let me know if you're here for Digibyte. So Digibyte's been retracing like we've been talking about since we last looked at this, guys. Overall, the volatility stop now, since we're in a short-term downtrend here, has been to the downside. You can see how that trend was changing as opposed to the green in the up there. Right now, we're sitting on that 50 moving average. This is a very important area because it was also previous resistance that we want to turn into support right here that we broke up through. We want to find support here. So this is a very critical area, this 0.01692. I would really say that we want to hold this as support. If we don't hold this as support, we could be looking down to 0.01105. So be aware of that. And guys, it could happen fast, even back down to this 200 moving average. You know how these things go. And then it could move from there. Very big pumps, very big retracements, and you have to be prepared about that. Always be prepared. And you can see the volume here starting to tail off now. What we would want is swelling volume to the upside so we can start getting back over top of that 0.02237 and then be up around that 0.02436. And if we take a look at our indicators here and we go to the MACD histogram's trying to get to the positive here, but we're starting to roll over again a little bit. So we might retrace even a little bit more, guys. You know, if we go down back down to that 0.01410, I wouldn't be surprised. But we'll just have to see where we set that so we can move again and see if we can start making some upside progress. So that's what I want to bring to you guys. Happy Sunday. Love all of you. Appreciate you being here with me today. God bless. Like, subscribe. Let me know.